All right, so here we are. We're in Matthew chapter 10 again, still onward and upward. And it's pretty challenging stuff, isn't it, so far? I mean, it's pretty interesting, just keeps going. And what I want to repeat, just in case you haven't been in the series, is Jesus has given the instructions to these men. He has separated them out of the group as apostles and sent them out to do something, and he gives them instructions before they go. And this is him telling them the responsibilities, their requirements, what's going to happen, what they should know and shouldn't worry about, things like that, about doing this in his name, going out as his sent ones, really. An apostle, I will go back and I'll define apostle for you. Apostle is a person who teaches culture. And Jesus adopted that word from the Romans, or the Romans got it from him before. And the Romans were already using the word. When they conquered a place, they sent an apostle into the region to teach them the Roman culture. And Jesus is sending 12 men out, calling them apostles, to teach the culture of the new covenant. And so he's telling them what to do to go out and operate in the new covenant. And tells them to heal and save, deliver. These things are going to happen, and he tells them what to do for those that reject and those that accept. And to set the stage again, it seems like I do this every week, but to set the stage again, this group of people that he's sending them to have been waiting for him for thousands of years. They have every day of their life been told one is coming. He is coming. You go back and read the minor prophets and the major prophets and the lawgivers and all of them. They're all talking about the one that comes, that you will listen to. And then the Father says on the Mount of Transfiguration, "This is my Son, listen to him. He is here." The angels told the shepherds. The angels told the wise men. The wise men came. The people proclaimed. The prophets in the temple proclaimed. He is here. And Jesus is sending these men out to tell them the King is here. Your answer has come. What you've long waited for has come. And he's telling them, how do you function this way? And that's where we're going to continue. We're in chapter 10 of Matthew, verse 24 through, we'll read down to 27. And here we go. A disciple is not above his teacher, nor a slave above his master. It is enough for the disciple that he become like his teacher, and the slave become like his master. If they have called the head of the house Beelzebul, how much more will they malign the members of his household? Do not fear them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. What I tell you in the darkness, speak out in the light. And what you hear whispered in your ear, proclaim upon the housetops. Wild, huh? That what he tells them, if they called me the Beelzebub, they're going to call you. But don't fear them, for there's nothing hidden that won't be revealed. Now, I think that in 21st century America at least, and maybe 21st century Western world, and especially 21st century Christianity, that nothing's going to be hidden that won't be revealed would probably scare a lot of people. All your secrets are coming out on the table, boys. Would probably cause a little bit of uh-ohs. It's funny. In 1989, I played a trick on a youth group. There was a book called Why Jesus Must Return by September of 89. So in my youth group, I said, okay, it's the last youth group of August. Therefore, Jesus must return before next youth group. This is our last meeting. The rapture's coming. We're all going to go. And I said, well, yeah, we've had the church board has met. We've all reviewed these facts, and it seems really true that he must come back next week. And that youth group went bonkers. They went bonkers. That was about 10 minutes of the meeting. And then for the rest of the meeting, I was telling them, I made that up. It's not true. The one time he probably can't come back now is by next week because people say they know when he's coming. So don't believe me and don't go home and tell your parents. I don't want calls all night. I just wanted you to understand, to search yourself and see if you're ready or not. And when Jesus says, if they attack him, won't they attack you? But don't worry, because what's secret will be made known. I kind of look at that and say, why should that comfort me? It should only comfort me if I know that in secret I'm the same man that I am in public. If they call me a liar and I prove to be a liar, why would that comfort me? If they call me all kinds of things, if they say that I'm deceptive and I turn out to be deceptive, why should that comfort me? Isn't that weird? You probably didn't think that when I read it, did you? Don't worry, everything hidden will be revealed. Why would that comfort? Why would that cause me not to worry? He chose me. He called me. I have a decision to make. Do I live up to that calling? Do I live up to that word? In 43 years now, what have I decided? Is it true or not true? I don't want to keep using this story, but I walked up to my house. It was gone. It was burning. Smoke coming. The day before I had said, we don't have anything to worry about. This is God's house. He's not going to let it burn. I should have said, it's his house. It'll burn if he wants it to burn, or it won't burn if he doesn't. And I walked up to that house and I had to face the thing, the situation. I had to face it. I had to decide, what do I feel? I had these two emotions coming at me. I had to pick one. None of you were there. Nobody will know. But one day it'll be revealed. What was my emotion? I can tell you my emotion. Oh, this is going to be a long road. But it's your house. Fireman walked up to me. You okay? What's your house? I said, yeah. So I'm sorry. I said, well, I'm sorry for some of the stuff I lost, but this is going to turn out to be one of my finest hours. The secrets will be revealed. I chose a long time ago that he's good. I chose a long time ago that all that I have is his. Therefore, when people call me a liar, a cheat, he's there for the money, which, trust me, I get that at least once a week. What really kills me is when one of you are destroyed by that rumor, by that statement. Don't worry, the truth will be revealed. How about you? What will happen when the truth is revealed? Will it prove that Jesus is true? Will it prove the maligner's wrong? The accuser's wrong? See, Jesus didn't even defend himself in that trial he went through. He's going to go through a trial in this story. He didn't even defend himself. Didn't accuse them because he wasn't worried. The truth's going to come out. It's all going to be revealed. And I'm like, wow, I have a lot to learn. I stood there and looked at my house. It was gone. I've spent since July, I don't know how many months that is, but it's a long time now. I've spent putting it back together, always asking him, do you want me to put this back together? You wanted it burned. Do you want it rebuilt? Every time he says yes. So I go back to work. Disciple is not above his master. A slave is not above his master. A student is not above his teacher. What's this mean? It leaves me with a question I want to ask you. Because I ask myself this. Am I a student? Or is this all about me? Am I a slave? Am I able to have a master? Or do I have too much pride to have a master? Am I trying to make God fit me? Jesus follow me? Am I trying to make the Bible fit my lifestyle and say it's okay because I can make the Bible say it's okay? Or am I trying to make my life fit what he taught? Am I trying to surrender? Am I trying to submit? I ask myself that. I look in the mirror and ask myself, are the things I'm living for worth him dying for? Are the things I'm doing in secret, are they going to be okay when they're brought out? Are you going to be okay when my secrets are revealed? Those of you that trusted in me. Is anyone else going to be okay when your secrets are revealed? Are the people you're raising, following, leading, are they going to be okay when those things happen? Do you have a teacher? Are you able to be taught? I was just sharing yesterday with my whole life now wasn't the case before. I go on Facebook and I see, yesterday when I announced the 43 years, living and loving Jesus, I had responses from people from 40 years ago that I was the youth pastor of, 30 years ago that I was the youth pastor of, 25 years ago that I was the youth pastor of. They came on. I remember when you told me that story, one guy says, from 30 years ago. 32 years ago was him. And different people responded, and I thought about it. Those people could be taught. Those people could learn. They could have a teacher. They could have a master. But in today's world, it's almost like you're being offensive if you tell them they need to be taught, like they're being put down. You have to. So it's a viable question in today's world. Can you follow? Can you have a teacher? Can you have a leader? It says a student is not above his teacher. Can you have one? A slave not above his master. Can you have a master? Or is that a put down? I can have a master. Especially a master that can turn a burning house into something so great. I will tell you the stories of the greatness of this burnt house as we go. It is amazing, and I will share them with you. God has just brought blessing into our life. Can He use the trials and tribulations of your life to bring you joy? Can He? I will tell you this. Watch the movie, The Suffering of Christ. What's it called? The Passion of the Christ. The word means the suffering of the Christ. Watch the misery. The incredible, my skin crawls to watch that Hollywood depiction of what it might have been like for him. My skin crawls. And all I can think of, that much misery has brought me this much joy. How is that possible? How does He do that? Can my trials and tribulations bring joy? Can my trip-ups, the people slinging insults at me, can it bring joy? If they called me Beelzebub, whatever, Beelzebub, if they call me that, won't they call you that? If they persecute me, won't they persecute you? He just finished saying, beware of men. Man. Can there be joy come out of sadness? Can trials and tribulations? Paul the Apostle says, consider it joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials and tribulations. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Is that possible? I can tell you it is if you have a master. Let's look at what teacher, student means. If you have a teacher, then you are a learner. In today's world, it just means that you eat the meat and spit out the bones. You take what you want, you reject what you don't want. You take a little and you leave a lot behind. But in this world, when he said these things, having a teacher in their day was equivalent to everyone in the room buys a lottery ticket and nobody believes they're going to win. Nobody. What are the chances of this few tickets being the winner? No one expects to win. But one of you do. And that's the same odds of you having a teacher in their day. Nobody got to go to school. Nobody got to be a learner of a teacher. Paul the Apostle did. He studied under Gamaliel and went to school and actually learned in a school. So when they called him teacher, they were holding him in a very, very, very small circle. And to call him their teacher, they were elevating themselves. And when Jesus says, for a student does not become greater than his teacher. For you to have a teacher in their day meant you were so privileged you paid attention. You didn't eat the meat and spit out the bones. Your intention was to learn everything they told you. For a master to have a disciple, that word means exact twin. It doesn't mean learner or someone who assimilates a part of what you're saying. The word means exact twin. Not just two people walking in the same path. It means one becoming exactly like the other. That's rare. We all know Amy Rivera and her sister. We know Ashley and Lindsay, exact twins. Then we look at Max and Chloe, they're not. What this word means is Amy and her sister, exact. And they're not even that exact. There's a lot different about them. You can tell the difference once you know them. What he's talking about is you can't tell the difference. So, the question is, do you have a master? Are you a disciple becoming an exact twin? If there's a difference between you and who's teaching you, are you working to close the gap? Are you a learner, trying to learn everything? A slave and a master. Listen to this. A slave that he's talking about, the word he used there is a person who is owned. A human being owned by another. So you've got a learner that's learning everything, a disciple that's becoming an exact twin, and a slave that is owned. Those are the examples he used. For the 12 men he's sending out to heal and save and deliver. Part of his instructions is to tell you, you want to go out and do this great work for the Lord, you have to be a disciple, and you have to be a student, and you have to be a slave. I can clearly tell you I am owned. My life is not my own. I am bought with a price. I'm a man who's owned. I'm a student of Jesus Christ. I am out to learn every iota of what he's teaching. I am out to follow it. Now the next one, the exact twin, I'm not there. You can tell the difference. But I can tell you my goal. And I just want to encourage you, I want to inspire you to wake up one day and just say, hey, I want to be sent by Jesus Christ out to save, heal, and deliver. I want to strive to enter by the narrow door. And all the people saying don't strive, I'm not their student. I'm not their disciple. He says strive to enter by the narrow door. I'm going to do what he says. I'm going to learn his yoke. I'm going to take on his plan so that when there is fear like death, I remember how scared I used to be that one of my children would die. Carried that fear for years, man. In fact, until I yelled at the Lord. I actually not really yelled, but I kind of shook my fist. And I'll go ahead and, confess my sins to you. You take one of my children, I'd have a hard time keeping this, stay in the path. I'd have a hard time. And it just hit me. I just put my children in the worst danger on earth. I just took my children out from under the covering of God and put them above the covering of God. I exposed them to every bad thing there is on this earth. So I immediately repented. I mean, it was like immediate. I remember I was standing in the driveway that's still there when I said that. I know where I was looking. If you were there, I'd point. I was looking right there when I said those dumb words. When I raised my fist to the sunset. If you, and I can tell you how quickly I went to my knees. I am so sorry I just said that. I don't want you to take my children. I love my children, and it would hurt. But even if you took my children, I would still love you. And that's a fact, and that's where we're going. I'm stepping up a step, and I'm taking a new posture. And that was the day when I first said to him, in my life, I already decided you're good. I already decided that come what may, I'm walking with you. You're real, I'll follow you. Take my life. Doesn't matter what happens. And that was the beginning of me eating the right food to face the day when my granddaughter had leukemia. And it was the day when the doctors were saying, this is bad, she's going down, we're losing her. It was the day when I found my house burning down. I didn't start lifting weights to be strong for those days, on those days. I started way back up the trail when I had these encounters with God where I said, I am your servant. I am your slave. I am your student. I am endeavoring to be your twin, Jesus. And no matter what, come what may, hell or high water, I belong to you. I'm not going to have to like it. I'm not going to enjoy the moment, but I'm going to continue to love you. I'm going to continue to follow you. I'm going to continue to learn from you, submit myself to you, serve you, be where you want me to be, eat what you tell me to eat, not eat what you tell me not to eat. I'm going to continue to strive to enter by the narrow door, eye on the prize, upward call of God in Jesus Christ. I'm going to continue to make sure that who I am in secret can be revealed. I'm going to continue to communicate your truths, no matter who likes them, no matter who doesn't like them. It is enough for the disciple that he become like his teacher. Oh, could it ever be? May it ever be that I could be like him? Exact twin, like I told you. I got some road to travel here. I still got wear on my shoes. I still can do some movement. I have not arrived. If ever you think I'm telling you I've arrived, I have not arrived. I am on a journey. I'm all into the journey. I'm calling on you to join me. Let's go together. Let's go together on this journey. Let's be his disciple. Let's become exact twins. Let's be owned by him. Let's learn what he's saying. And let's silence all the noise out there that's from every other source that's saying all these crazy things. Like it doesn't matter what you do. Where on earth is it in there? Does Jesus say it doesn't matter what you do? There's such simple things in there. Simple things, and all of them require that I be all in. All of them require that I learn of him, that I take on his burden, that I take on his life, that I let my life cease to exist and I take on his, and that my life be Jesus and him crucified. Christ, the Son of the living God. He is here. The King is here. I am here. He will be my King. I will bow. It says every knee will bow, every tongue confess on that day. Don't wait. I don't need to wait. My knee will bow today. My tongue will confess today. I'm not waiting for that day. My knee will bow every day. My tongue will confess every day. And I'm calling on you. Fake religion does not give you joy unspeakable, full of glory. It does not bring peace that passes understanding. It does not bring abundant life. True religion is this, that we love one another as he has loved us. Which, whoa, that's enough work for any man. That's enough duplication. That's enough twin. To love you the way he loved me, that's a lot of challenge right there. You follow me? True religion is this, that we love one another as he has loved us, that we believe in the one he sent, the King. The King is here. Yes? Yes. Yes. Let's see if we missed anything. Let's go back to what I tell you in the dark will speak in the light. What you hear whispered in your ear, proclaim upon the housetops. I've heard it said that we should preach the gospel and, when necessary, use words. I think that Jesus is saying it's always necessary. We should preach the gospel without words, but we should always add words. We should use all the senses. People need to hear the truth over and over and over. And what you hear in the darkness, proclaim it in the light. What I've found that to mean in my life is I have had my own weaknesses try to trip me up. I've had other people's weaknesses try to trip me up. And I've had people try to trip me up who were trying to prove me to be phony. Trying to get me, And I have had people try to do this to me. And in different occasions, it's been pretty powerful stuff. Can't tell you the stories. But I have found that if I run home and tell it to my wife, I know this is going to be hard for you. I know it's going to hurt you. It's going to make you worry. But I have to tell it to you because I got to expose the light to this darkness. And I've shared it with her. And I've been set free the minute I share it with my wife. I confess my sins when I've been tempted. Confess it to the brothers, to the leaders in my church, the pastors, the associate pastors. I find myself immediately released from the pressure of it, the temptation of it. And I believe that we're trying to teach accountability around here. Surrender, submit, be accountable to one another. Find people you can trust, share your heart with them. Begin these relationships where you share your heart. We have accountable dating, accountable relationships, almost like chaperoning from the last century, from 2 centuries ago. It's like crazy. People think we're nuts. And yet, our success is amazing. Where we cause people to begin to believe in themselves, cause people to begin to love one another properly, cause people to begin to walk in the light. You'll see, I've always used this example, and I do it every once in a while, where I go into a closet that has no source of light. I'll even block out under the door with a towel to try to make it as dark as I can. And I will take in the darkness. I'll absorb it. It's like darkness is not an element. It is simply the absence of light. But I will feel its presence, and it has a presence. Darkness is much more a personality than it is a lack of light even. It's just amazing how powerful darkness is. And then at a certain moment, I will flip on the light. If it's a switch or a light, what they call flashlight. I'm always shocked by something. There is no battle between light and dark. Light always wins. Light always prevails. Darkness completely loses its elements when the light comes on. Try it. You'll be shocked. Look around. There is no battle. The darkness isn't trying to push the flashlight back into its light. Push it back in. It's not doing that. It just succumbs. Light wins every time. That's what Jesus is saying. What you hear in the darkness, expose it to the light. Watch it. Watch what happens. When the darkness is coming upon you, dark dreams, dark thoughts. Here's what I do. I stop every day probably 100 times now. Because, I thought I didn't have any dark thoughts until I took on this challenge, and then I found out I have a lot of dark thoughts. I stop them. Stop! That is not what I want. Last Sunday, I was standing here right in the middle of worship. I had, whoa, that is not what I want. I want, and I tell the truth of what I want. I let the light into it. Stop it. Tell myself, that's a lie. My brain is lying to me. Spirits are lying. I don't know who's lying to me. That's a lie. I don't care who's telling it. It's a lie. The truth is what Jesus says. And that's how I become who I am. That's who I can consistently go forward. That's how I know that when he says, don't worry, all your secrets will be revealed. All these people hate you, but don't worry, the secrets will be revealed. People are criticizing you. People don't trust you. Don't worry, the secrets will be revealed. Is that a good thing? For me, it is. It's a good thing. Keeps me from having secrets that might destroy you. It really does. I weigh it out and go, how you understand my secrets, that'll be up to you. But for the most part, everything I know is the secrets be revealed. It'll be good for you. Don't worry, your secrets will be revealed. I call you to the challenge. Come on, let's go together. Let's be twins of Jesus Christ. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. My eye's on the prize. Let's be students. Let's take everything he says and reject nothing. When he says he who overcomes to the end will be saved, we'll say, okay, teach me what that means. Am I overcoming? Am I walking on top or am I down under? Am I in the light or am I in the darkness? Let's be learners. Not just be learners of what we want to pick and what we want to reject, but let's just take it all and say, okay, stir me up. Sift me like wheat. Let's see what comes of it. I can tell you I'm now at 43 years of I have no regrets. I'm ecstatically happy life. The first 18, they weren't very happy. I had great childhood, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't like me or anyone else. Jesus came along and it all changed. I was born again. So, just about to celebrate 39 years of ecstatically happy marriage. It's good to be a person who's a learner, a student. And this idea of being a slave, I know. Some of us think that's all bad. But every single letter starts out with Paul, a bondservant of Jesus Christ. I think Peter says it different, but he says the same thing. Called by the will of God. An apostle by the will of God. And then he reads what an apostle has to do, and it's like, I accept God's will. I will be an apostle. I will be a sent one. I'll be someone who teaches the culture of Jesus Christ in the world. Come what may. Bring it on. I'm looking forward to being what Jesus is describing. I want to be a twin. Like I said, I am a student. I am a slave. I want to be a twin. You following me? You seeing some areas in your life? Is the Holy Spirit talking to you? Are you feeling him, seeing him, hearing him? He might sound like me today, calling you out, not trying to push you down, calling you up. Calling you up. There's things in if the secret statement bothers the crud out of you, like, oh no, that's going to destroy me. Well, then just come on up. Further up and farther in, just move on up. Let him convict. Let him change. Let him inspire. Move towards it. Further up and farther in. Keep coming. You don't got to be there today. You just got to keep coming. Keep moving.